Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. I know we live in quite extraordinary, unusual times. And all of you, you've been following us, you've been working with us, you've been playing with us. You know that we had to change everything. We had to change our plan in terms of the business and wealth vortex, but also the relationship game because of what's going on right now. And I really feel that what we're doing is that we are guided. And those of you who've been watching our webinars and our interview last night with Sunove, this is not like, this is what we're going to teach as well, is that your head doesn't know, your head doesn't know the answer. But when you surrender your life, you're going to be guided. And this is the thing. It's very, very beautiful, because when I look at my life right now, it is so different from where I was. I can swear to, like, on my mom's grave, she's not dead yet, but that's, or my brother, because I love him so much. If I hadn't done the work for all these years, I have no clue where I would be right now. Like, literally, I think I would have been hooked up to a pendulum and I would be like crazy buying masks and gloves and penicillin or whatever, but I'm not there now. I actually believe that there's a huge, beautiful unfolding, and that somehow we need to reinvent a lot of things, and that this is happening for the better. And that, but it does require us to think differently, to think greater than we feel, to act greater than we feel, and to actually align our life path to a bigger plan. So the whole game about creating from the best case scenario is moving away from ego agenda, moving away from what's in it for me. It's moving into, why am I here at this moment? Why am I called to actually really know more about myself and to know how I can be in alignment with the best case scenario? And the best case scenario is not just best case scenario for yourself, it's best case scenario for you and the whole world. Because I know that one of the former players, she was posting something about her husband last night. Those of you who know her, who are on her Facebook, her husband is one of the beautiful people in the UK who was in the food industry, and he worked 15 or 16 hours. He came home 6:45, working for 15 hours because he was responsible for the food supply. And he was taking showers, trying not to infect his family, and was taking, removing all his clothes to actually be washed before he entered into the house. And, and I realized so much how we're so interdependent on every chain in the supply chain. So the people who are working on the electricity, the telecom system, Zoom, the people who are the politicians, the people who are running the hospitals, the finance people, the IT people. So you can imagine, you have to take into consideration whatever's going on for you. There's an even bigger role, but maybe you need to reinvent it. Maybe you need to recalibrate it. And maybe there's something that you're ready for, but you wouldn't be ready without what's going on right now. And so I just want to start with actually explaining the game. So those of you who know the game, those of you know how the game is played, but we're going to assume that people don't know how it's played. So basically, the appreciation game is, you do 4 things. You have accountability to do the appreciation versus the 7 toxic ways of thinking and being. And when you watch one of our former webinars, you'll see a lot of the 7 toxic ways of thinking and being is devaluation, which is completely the opposite of appreciation. You have generalization, you have time warping, you have acting from urgency, you have catastrophic thinking, you have, I don't know it right now anymore, but so basically all these ways of thinking are actually really, really taking us away from reaping the opportunities in crisis, or reaping the opportunities in every possible scenario that can unfold. And actually the 7 toxic ways of thinking, they're actually very habitual, they're very natural, they're very human. They're very much how I think, all of us when we, you know, I don't have children, but when I babysit children, I completely go into 7 toxic ways of thinking. Like the way that I speak to children, like don't do this, don't do that. I start catastrophic thinking about what's going to happen when they climb up a table and all of that stuff. I mean, it's so natural for us to go into the 7 toxic ways of thinking. But right now, when we're dealing with our businesses, when we're dealing with our life path and the ways that we're going to make money and the ways that we're going to render our services to the world, we cannot fall back into 7 toxic ways of thinking, simply because we know now from science that when you appreciate, you're more in heart and brain coherence. And when you stay in heart and brain coherence, you're going to be receiving non-local guidance and non-local intuition from the quantum field. And the quantum field then allows you to tune into the right opportunities, the right people to work with, or the right things that you and the only person that is you can take up on as a new business or a new service or a new, you know, a new operation. So and so I completely trust this, because this is how I've been running my life for over a year now. And I can tell you it's very new to me. It's not something that I can say I've been very, very experienced in. It's something that's very new to me. So, so the appreciation game is very simple. You appreciate 3 times a day. We ask you to appreciate in the morning and to write down how you feel according to the David Hawkins scale before you appreciate. And then after appreciation for 68 seconds, how you feel after that. And so, and then when you do it 3 times a day, actually people get into the habit of doing it for the whole day, and they start challenging themselves when they don't do it or when they notice that they feel really bad. And what we do also in the appreciation game is what you'll see here in this slide, is we also offer 7 days a week. So one appreciation game is like 28 days. So every day we have an inspirational teaching. So we use all the biggest teachers in the world. These are all things you can find in books or on YouTube. It's just that we gather them in a specific order so that you really start to create a new neural network regarding a topic, so that you actually remind yourself, you know, you keep on knowing more and more about this topic, and you start seeing things that you didn't see before when you were just glancing over the book or you're just listening to the YouTube while you were cooking or while you were in the tube. Right now, when we offer you the teaching and you see all the other players commenting on it, you'll gain insights and you'll start thinking, wow, I never thought of that. And that's when you start to actually really, your neural network gets stronger and stronger regarding to the concepts that we're sharing, which are completely available everywhere. You can do this by yourself, but the group work is really where the power is, because you start to learn from each other. And also the group energy, which is here, the group entanglement, creates an amazing amazing area of synchronicity and synergy. And so, for instance, one of the things that we've seen is that quite a lot of people who are business owners, when they started appreciating their clients and themselves and their businesses, they started, you know, attracting clients from nowhere, and old clients, but also new clients from nowhere. And other people who had 0 revenue, they went to 14K revenue. Other people, you know, accelerated the amount of money that they could make within 1 month, which previously would take them much longer. And other people would just, you know, really started seeing opportunities. They started getting clarity about what they wanted. So, and other people started dreaming bigger. So I think these are all examples of how, when you get into appreciation, you get out of the program, the analytical thinking that says, you can't do it, nobody's waiting for you, you know, why would people want to spend money with you? They don't have money. People, like, it's absolutely not true. Actually, there's going to be re-evaluation of how people will spend their money. So, and you know, you can always make money in any economy, just that you have to tune in to what is right for you and what you can then offer your ideal clients, because you have to be so clear about your ideal clients. And we think that when you play the appreciation game with us and you start to also study these teachings every day, and you start to engage with the group, you're going to really, really reap the benefits. So that is what we do in the appreciation game. We have a huge, beautiful community of people who are really committed. These are not the people who are the know-it-alls and don't do it ever. These are the people who know it, and they effort and they really put a commitment in to overcome themselves. They're not blaming the world, they're not blaming any virus, they're not blaming the politicians or any country or whatever. They're actually really seeing the opportunity in everything that comes, and they know that they can overcome their own limitations. And so because of what's going on, Ellen and I really thought, actually, Ellen came up with this idea. We need to do a bit more than just get played appreciation game, because we would have like one teleclass a week about the teachings and sharings. Right now, because of what's going on, because a lot of us are inundated, where we're swimming in a sea of consciousness of pendulums. Worst case scenario thinking, people who are afraid, people are rightfully, logically they are afraid, people are procrastinating important business decisions, people are in complete survival. And probably a few of you have seen your business revenue really go to zero because of what's going on. And those of you who are lucky to have remote businesses, or who have multiple income streams, you are probably dealing with another type of scenario. But we really are aware of how important this issue is of raising our vibration and getting out of the pendulum. So Ellen came up with this idea of, why don't we do group energy work in addition to actually offering what we're already offering, which is the teleclasses each one time a week, but also the group teachings. Why don't we do what we call group energy work? And so the great thing is, Ellen, maybe you can say a little bit about why you downloaded this and why you thought this was a good idea.
I was a little bit in the world of my child, but you're talking about why I downloaded it. I don't know, it just came to me, and I was like, what I love so much about the group, and when I was thinking of all the women here now, I think you're all women, is the group energy that we had, and all the love and the support, and it was just so beautiful. And I was like, so it's nice to have our weekly call where we sort of explain what the week is going to be about, but we love the connection part. So that's why I thought this was such a beautiful thing. And then, and there's, I do Theta Healing, Angelique Pastor T, and then there's a constellations Angelique does. And those are things we can offer, and that can really help you, because we've noticed that a lot of times there are things that come up and we just need to clear them. We can do all the appreciation we want, but some things just need to be cleared. And these tools have been really helpful for us, and so we'd like to share them with you.
Yeah, in our private life, Ellen and I, we share a lot about our work with Theta Healing. We work with Theta healers, the people in our communities that we're going to collaborate with that are Theta healers. We work with Fast EFT. We work with, constellations. We try every method. And so basically, Fast EFT is actually something you can watch on video. You can buy the first course, actually, the first training course. I invested in that first training course, and I have invested in, at least, I think, 24, maybe almost 36 sessions of Faster EFT to actually really tackle my neural network. And I think, when people really get stuck, we can help them with Fast EFT. So every week we're going to have an extra class where we're going to see where you really need some loving care and attention. Because I think what is going on, and I really shared this with Ellen, is a lot of people, when they do this work, they repress a lot of their negativity, and they say, why am I thinking this negative picture? Why am I feeling this fear? I don't like this negative feeling. But actually, what we really know now is that you cannot repress, you cannot think positively enough to actually repress the fear that is in your body. You cannot think, visualize positive things and really be programmed in fear. And sometimes we need to use other methods to get the fear out of your body. So using Fast EFT is extremely beneficial also for the group. So whenever we're going to work with people, we're just going to find a common theme, and we're going to use tapping to actually tackle the neural network of survival. So that is something that I'm very excited about, because I have been working on myself, definitely on my business, but also on my relationship issues. But definitely, I think what we're dealing right now with is a lot of fear around money and business and livelihoods, and are basically what's going to happen in the future. Definitely Theta Healing. I didn't study that, but Ellen just attended a course, so she will be able to shine in the Theta Healings. Theta Healing, for those who don't know it, is beliefs clearing. So imagine that you believe that money is critical for you to have any self-worth, and then you take lots and lots of action. But just right now, you just like are experiencing something a bit like disappointing with money. Your self-worth is so affected that whatever you bring out, in marketing or promotions or campaigns, you're not going to be aligned, because you don't believe in your self-worth, because your self-worth was so extremely linked to money. So this is like one of the hidden things that can come up when we do Theta Healing. Another thing could be that you don't believe that it's good to ask for money in times of crisis. You just want to give. I mean, I've been there, because I'm a fucking Enneagram 2, and a lot of you are Enneagram 2, I'm afraid to say, and there's quite a lot of Enneagram 2s and Enneagram 3s in here. So if you know that you're an Enneagram 2 and you actually don't feel good about receiving money, then I think you're going to be really struggling with money. You can do any manifestation class, but because you have a hidden belief that you cannot charge money because other people need it more than you are not understanding the flow of economy. You're not understanding the exchange of energy and the law of giving and taking. And so I think, there's a lot of things that we can also bring in, which is the universal laws of giving and taking in the economy, that also will be clarified when we do the beliefs clearing and Theta Healing. So releasing is something that I've been studying for many, many years, and it's like an amazing process, because releasing actually allows you to welcome all negative feelings and pictures. And once you do that, you're going to experience basically relief. You're going to, whatever you feel is that stuck in your body in terms of fear, in terms of panic, in terms of, over worry. When you do the releasing, you'll find that's a very easy process to welcome, even things that you feel you want to repress and you don't want to face them. So, and we're really here to actually help you succeed, because, in the good times, the times before this virus broke out, I can tell you, in Europe, we had amazing positive outlook for our economy. And right now it's looking a bit different. So I think, releasing could help us actually really, really get rid of a lot of maybe the pain around the changes that are happening, but also to surrender a lot of the beliefs that we had about how our life should be unfolding, and to surrender it to a bigger plan. Constellations, those of you who know my constellations work is super mysterious, there's a lot of super synchronicity happening. We just did a constellations for 17 flamingos on Sunday, and I don't even know what happened there, but just like bizarre things happened there. But everybody started downloading amazing consciousness, and everybody left feeling positive, feeling empowered, feeling serene and peace and complete love and caring and compassion. And so I think just exploring what we have in the group, the players that are going to be with us, we can actually really help shift you to a high vibration. So this is really what's important. We don't want you to be in denial about the fear. We want to offer you processes and in a group setting, which is in addition to the classes each week, to actually really release quite a lot of these things, especially these here. Probably here fear or desire, or maybe grief, or maybe guilt and shame. So So I just want to go back to the core of our teaching. The core of the teaching is, of course, vibrational match. What are you a vibrational match to? And I started downloading this, which is your vibration is so much determined by these two things, which is your identity, which is how you hold on to an identity. And very often we hold on to, this is who I am, and we defend it, and I've seen it in my personal relationship that, there are things that I defend with all my might, and it's not even serving me, but it's like I am so attached to it. And so it's very important that we start to understand, what Tony Robbins is teaching is you will always be congruent with your identity. So when you are seeing that maybe in certain areas of your life, maybe your business, there is a certain identity that you keep on holding on to. Maybe that's not serving you. And we're going to help you to really identify, is this identity, what is actually going on with this identity? So basically, we really want you to think about identity is, instead of believing that you are who you are right now, we want you to believe in the infinite self, the expansion of yourself. And so it's very important that we then really go into this teaching of, are you tuned into source, or are you tuned into your program? Your program is your personality. Your personality is this here, how you think, how you feel, and how you act. And this is completely, you've been doing this for years, and you've been trying to overcome that. And we are here going to offer you methods and tools to actually rethink these identities, rethink your programs, reevaluate your programs, catch yourself in your programs, so that you are more able to tune into source, your inner being communicating to you. And the other thing, which is very important, which is like the most important download I think I could ever have in these times, is that identity is very often very, very subtly underlying identity is a victim consciousness or a creator consciousness. And I think especially in these times when so many things are happening to us, we are being told what to do, things are like happening without us having it on our vision board. We think, oh, how did I create this? But I think it's very important that we start to understand that, um, irrelevant of the environment, it's actually not important what the environment does. You can still create, the best outcome for yourself, but we need to surrender what that looks like. We need to surrender what we think it would look like. We actually don't have a clue sometimes. We might get like intuition based on certain, when we align, but we actually really don't know how it will be. And so I really would say that regardless of that, we don't know how it will look like, we can determine a lot of the characteristics of our future. So, and the characteristics will be about who we are showing up as, and are we showing up as a creator or as a victim? So I would, when we're playing this game right now, and all these things are going to be gripping around our lives, right? We're going to be watching the news, we're going to be looking at our bank statements. We want you to really think about, sorry, I thought I turned off my phone. We're going to really be looking at, are you still predominantly coming from the creator or the victim consciousness? So when you look at the worksheet, so really this is one of the most important things that you can think of is like, are you coming from victim or the creator identity? And or are you really, or have you trained yourself to actually know that, no, I'm not my personality. I'm actually, a spiritual being having a human life here. So this is all about the alignment piece. So when we think we are a personality, we will defend it. We think we want to overcome ourselves, but we're too attached to who we are. So I think this is a very important, it's for you very important to actually see where you are, maybe put a little cross where you believe you are, and then put on the consciousness scale of where you believe you are. So a victim is definitely under 200. As long as you're a victim, you're not going to be, victims are always going to be somewhere here. They're always going to be hovering around here. So see where you are stuck so that you can really overcome that. And and really, really be so honest to assess, you know, am I still stuck in my personality, which is I am so like actually I don't believe that I'm human. But anyways, so this is one of the things that we'll be delving into. So when we go further into the what we're going to be teaching, we're going to be looking at first how you think. So the personality is thought of how you comprised of how you think and how you feel and how you act. And I want to really see, like, you know, in these times we're going to be we have to choose whether we believe in what we see as reality, as the only reality, or whether we are going to believe in infinite possibilities. And the second thing is, of course, we need to overcome the 7 toxic ways of thinking. So this is something you're going to be practicing every day anyhow. That is the main purpose of the game. But the other thing that we're going to inspire you with are the teachings about infinite possibilities. So this is really where the game comes in, you know. So when you think, you have to really be so honest. Am I still somewhere in the 7 toxic ways of thinking, like catastrophic thinking, or am I devaluing myself, or am I acting from urgency, or am I time warping, or am I generalizing? So this is really be so honest, or, you know, or just say, you know, actually, I am appreciating, this is now my default mode. And the thing is, if you're a vibrational match to, let's say, abundance or wealth in your business, you should actually see that now happening in your business. So if you're not seeing it, you're not a vibrational match. So you have to be so rigorous into looking at, you know, what's going on in my life. Is it because I am more focused on 3D reality? So in your thinking, you could be focused on 3D reality instead of infinite possibilities. Yeah. And so, and infinite possibilities is very difficult because the pendulum of our reality is here. The pendulum is that reality is what you see, what you can touch, what you can see in the news, what you can see in your bank statement. But I can tell you, you know, most of the people who've really achieved many, many big things, they weren't going to focus on reality. They were focused on a vision, and they were tuned into a vision of potential. And this is chapter 4 of Science of Getting Rich, is one of the best chapters you could ever read. And, you know, actually, when I first heard their audiobook, I couldn't even sleep, because that book, like, it just like hit me like a rock or something. It was like I had a light bulb, like my whole brain started to explode. And seriously, this business of believing in potential, believing in possibility, I think this is one of the biggest breakthroughs you can have. And especially in these times, I think there's no better time than now to actually to immerse yourself in the teachings of what are infinite possibilities, and what is the basis of us believing that it is so. And for us to really prove it to ourselves that there's not just this 3D reality, but also that our mind affects matter, that our intention affects consciousness and the way that reality then appears to us. So infinite possibilities, again, you know, it's really, really, when you think of infinite possibilities, you're going to be facing the pendulum of all the people around you and your body, because your body is so steeped in the way that you believe is what is true. And what is true is what you can touch, is what you can see, and what other people believe. So when you're going to go and study infinite potential, you don't have to study other people. You don't have to start looking at the people that are becoming supernatural, as Dr. Joe would say. You have to look at the people who are the pioneers on the leading edge of their industry. And they're the ones either doing it unconsciously in a competent way, or they're doing it consciously competent. You want to do it consciously competent so that you can replicate it and you can teach it to the people you love. Yeah. So another thing which I think is very important is what's going on with what I believe is the teaching of what is the source of supply. And so the source of supply is alignment. But very often we believe the source of supply is our work, is our job, or it is our business. And I really believe that when you know, because I've seen it in my own life, that when I align, and I've been studying so many different teachings, because I, you know, it's like I was something in me drove me to study all these different angles. But what I can see right now, it doesn't really matter which teaching you go to, which teacher, which course you go to. The main theme is your money or your abundance or your next relationship, your health is not coming from a person, an institution, a bank account, or a lottery. It's actually your alignment commands matter. And so this teaching, which is from John Randolph Price, we'll be studying that too, so that you really, once and for all, you're not going to be focusing on your bank account, or you're not focusing on business strategies to try and, like, get money into your bank account. You're going to focus on alignment first, and then you're going to be so tuned in that you're going to be receiving the right guidance. So when we think about the thinking, what is it that we believe in, we have to also look at what I call the divine matrix. So when we think of the thinking, we have to come here. So the thinking, we have to dissect a few things, and this is what you see in the worksheet. So when I think the belief in infinite possibilities is the biggest hurdle, because all of us are so stuck in the pendulum of believing in what is. And I think this is the main thing that we need to break through. And so when we believe in infinite possibilities, we'll have to start understanding the concept of best case scenario. We have to understand the concept of creating from the best case scenario instead of creating best case scenario. We have to understand what is the source of supply, which is alignment, not your business, or not an employer, or not an industry. And we also have to study the divine matrix and the option of parallel realities that many people are talking about. So what we ultimately will be is, so if you don't believe in this divine matrix, you're just going to say, what is this? I never heard of it. So definitely, if you've never heard of it, it's time for you to study it, because we're going to be delving into the teachings of the unified field and how the field responds to our feelings and our intentions. And so, and definitely a lot of teachers are talking about parallel realities. And so a lot of us, even I was somewhere where, like, parallel realities, it sounds like science fiction. I'll believe it when I see it. But actually, when you start to be the scientist in your life, like I have been in Dr. Joe's teachings, but also in teachings of working with other teachings like reality transurfing, I started becoming a vibrational reality. And when I started mastering that, I could see things. So, like my partner shifting, I just saw that if I shifted, they shifted. And I can tell you that this teaching of the parallel reality is a very powerful one. And if you don't understand it, you're just going to be stuck in this little reality, and it's not nice, So this is really, so if you see at how many new things we're going to bring in this game, we had to design it this way because of what's going on right now. More now than ever, we need to start transcending the belief in what is to be the only reality that there is. So I don't know, Ellen, do you have something to add? Or are you busy with your child? All of you with children at home,
What did you say?
Do you have anything to add? This piece about thinking, and that we have to start really believing in infinite possibilities, but also really studying it.
Yeah, I think it's the only way, because we need to start living it. We know this, like I've been experiencing this recently, and I think many of you maybe are too, that we know when we're feeling good in our life, we believe in infinite possibilities, and then things like this happen, and maybe coming closer to your life. And then you're being dragged into the pendulum, and then you're like, clearly not believing it, even though you don't believe it.
Yeah. And so, and when you don't believe it, you need to study it.
You need to study it. Like, you have to intellectually study it, which is also what I love about Dr. Joe Dispenza, is that it's all about studying it intellectually, because that satisfies the brain, and then you know why you're doing what you're doing, because you need to know why you're doing it. Otherwise, you're not going to do it, because at one point you're just going to give up and forget about it. The beautiful mix of all those ingredients together, I think, is very powerful.
Yeah. So after thinking, we're going to go to feeling. Let me see, where's the slide about feeling? Is it here? Oh, it's here. So feeling. So feeling, what we're going to be like, instead of just teaching you how to feel good or how to feel appreciation, we're going to go a little bit further, because this is what Ellen and I have been experiencing in our own life. And really, it is not just feeling in terms of how you're programmed to feel, but actually to overcome your program, overcome the fear in your body, overcome the resistance in your body, which we will do in the extra bonus class, to actually be able your field to actually resist, and how it feels different when you compare to the pendulum. And I think most of you will have had flashes of insight where you actually received guidance, and you might have followed it or you might not have followed it, but we really want you to understand the science about intuition and all the anecdotal evidence of people who are researching this, even in universities and in research institutes, where but definitely not just understand it from this is all being researched and being shown to be true, that you start working with it in your own life, that you start doing it for little things first, maybe maybe I don't know, parking spaces, or I don't know, little things that you need to do, and then you start to like expand it into bigger decisions like in your life. Feeling, of course, is also important when we're talking about embodying the new potential, because if you're not a vibrational match to the new desired reality, let's say you want to be wealthy but you feel broke, or you want to feel competent but you actually feel completely out of your comfort zone, you just think I'm just a fucking loser, so basically this embodying the new potential, those are the teachings that are very important. But so if you could look into this little worksheet, is really be very honest. And my feelings right now, because we're dealing with extreme circumstances, am I being hooked by the collective pendulums, all the news and all the fear of people, and or am I actually tuning into non-local intuition or guidance, so that I can actually see clearly, see beyond the pendulum, see beyond what other people tell me is reality or what other people believe to be reality. And so to be a master of your body, to be a master to become a vibrational match to your desired reality, I can tell you we need to overcome this, how the environment, so what our external world is, how it is informing us to feel. So let's say, we see like how many people are dying, how many people got infected. We just see it and we just think, or how many businesses are closing down. You just think, oh my God, your body goes into panic. You can see these things happen very automatically. So so we want to actually really, with the bonus classes, teach you methods to really overcome that, because it is so much needed. And Ellen and I really want all of you to actually thrive, and to actually, and I know that with this group of conscious players, we can actually elevate so much more than we can do by ourselves. So the next area is action, is how do we take action? And so this is really, where I feel that we need to go, is instead of just taking random action, those of you who know the power of intention, we need to start intending day by day how we're going to create our day. But then when we have set the intention, we need to surrender the outcome. So that means that we don't have to try and figure out how it's going to happen. We're not going to wait for it to happen. We're not going to look for it to happen. We just wait for the next intuitive impulse to come in, which is this section. When you set an intention and you surrender, you will get like intuitive impulses that sometimes seem completely illogical, or they don't even seem to be even near the objective that you had. But they will allow you to, when you play with it, when you're playful with it, you will see for yourself, actually, it makes sense. And when you look back, you'll see how you connected the dots. So Also, action is really about how we tell the new story, or better said, how do you tell a story that keeps you in the receptive mode? Because I can completely understand that it's very difficult for you to tell a story of joy, to tell a story of positivity when so many people are suffering. But maybe you can tell a story that will keep you in the receptive mode. And I think there are many ways that you can tell a story of the desired outcome, so without you feeling that you are living in la la land, right? So I think the most important thing that we're going to teach is how to get out of the pendulum, how to get out of the program, how to get out of the pendulums of the collective, which is pretty much the whole world, and how to tune into the best case scenario potential that is already unfolding, and how you can benefit from creating, from believing in that best case scenario as a quantum potential. So so basically, so going back to the worksheet, when you really look at it, you could do this every day. Just you could print this out or put this in your notebook. Is when you act, are you still coming from survival strategies plus attachment? Because those are the two killers for any type of manifestation. When you're attached to it, you're coming from lack. You're vibrating lack, and it's not going to happen. When you want money, money is not going to come. When you want clients are not going to come. It's more you feeling that you can offer something to clients, which they will pay for. That is when they're going to come. You start tapping into your complete uniqueness. You start valuing what you have to offer. That is when, and that people will get a tremendous incremental value when they work with you. That is when they will come, because people are only matching up with your belief about yourself and your value and your business and what you have to offer. So this is why I think, really acting from intention and surrender is way more productive than coming from the survival strategies and the attachment. Also, we spoke about it as well. Just really look at, are you always telling it like it is? Are you always being factual about what's going on? Are you always being truthful? And I think when you are that, you are not telling the story to stay into receptive mode. So I think you don't have to tell this to all your friends or your family that is completely struck with fear, but maybe tell the story to yourself to stay in receptive mode. You can practice what I call the nonviolent communication, and just really, really listen to their needs. Listen to how people are talking to actually understand their needs so you can connect with them. But you tell the story to yourself to stay in the receptive mode so that you can receive the intuition. So the way that you act, what is informing your decisions is the worst case scenario that is mirrored to us everywhere. Is that informing your decisions right now? Are you blinded by fear, worry, doubt? Or are you in analysis paralysis, which always happens when we start to try and think? Or are you now just waiting, which is what Ellen and I are doing? Are you waiting for the intuitive guidance, and you're not forcing yourself to be productive with action, because alignment is the main key to create results, to desired results. So also acting is, once you've received the guidance, do you know how to take the right next step? Or are you still like getting a lot of guidance? You could be one of those people, that actually get a lot of guidance, but your thinking just overshadows it, right? You just have your analytical thinking coming up with, how, no, I don't believe it, this is too good to be true, and then you start, you feel more comfortable with the program and the pendulum of hard work. So you feel guilty for that something could be so easy, and you feel, you don't even think that you should be paid for it, or, whatever it is. So I think this is really important. To actually really look at how these pendulums are affecting all the ways that we're thinking, feeling, and being. So we're going to be studying amazing books. So in week 1, we're going to really be studying this book called The Convoluted Universe by a woman called Dolores Cannon. And I will tell you, and Ella knows this, but I think she's gone. Maybe something happened with her internet connection. I will tell you that this book came to me 2 days ago. And I was telling myself, I need to understand parallel realities. I need to understand infinite potential. And I knew that I was going to study the divine matrix. I knew that. And I've listened to quite a lot of Greg's work, and Greg is actually so like, he was talking about infinite potential and parallel realities many years before I started studying Dr. Joe. But I think because I was not ready, I would listen to his videos and I didn't get it. It was like, it just went over my head. It was like, huh? What is he talking about? It was too complex for me. But right now I'm ready, and I'm like, I'm going to delve deep into this. And lo and behold, I'm listening to, I don't know what I was listening to, maybe to Dr. Joe or something. I was listening to that, and suddenly the next video that came on was an interview, not an interview, it was a guy reading The Convoluted Universe by Dolores Cannon. And this guy reads chapter 13, which talks about infinite potential. It talks about parallel realities, and it talks about pendulums. And this guy has even studied reality transurfing, which is what I did with my mastermind. And I was like, what kind of synchronicity is this? So you can imagine how my life is just like a really weird, bizarre, it's like a lot of like very synchronistic events that give me the right information. So I can tell you, I never felt that I had to read any of the Dolores Cannon books. The only book I actually have of her is a book about the Essenes, because two very gifted healers told me that I was part of the Essenes, and Jesus was an Essene. So they said I was one of the female teachers in the time of Jesus, and that's why I'm still a teacher. That's like my life path. Anyway, so that's the only book I have from Dolores Cannon, and I wasn't really interested in it, but now I'm like, oh my God, I have to study Dolores Cannon, because she's actually talking about pendulums. She's talking about infinite parallel realities and how we can visualize and how we can call it into matter. So, and I think really the first week, we need to go into the identity. We need to go into shifting from believing that you're a human being to actually that you're an infinite being having a human experience, and that you're not going to take life that seriously. You're going to you're going to love life. You're going to love all the challenges that life throws at you, because you're ready. You're ready to be tested. You chose to be here and you're ready to be tested. And you know what? This book coming into my life, it was like, I feel so blessed, and I think your life can be the same. When you surrender your life, when you go out of your program, you do not endorse your program. You do not endorse your identity, your little victim story, your little I'm still struggling story. You start owning your power. You go into maybe 350 in the David Hawkins scale, maybe even go to joy 550. When you start operating there, you're going to have these crazy synchronicities come to you all the time that you need for your next step of the evolution. So week 2, we're going to week 1, we're just going to focus on, do you recognize when you're tuned into the pendulum? And do you recognize when you're tuned into a source? And what is your identity? What are your hang-ups? And we're going to inspire you to really, really catch yourself when you have certain characteristics that are so you, or you believe that to be you, but they're actually stopping you from owning your power and actually really believing that there are infinite possibilities, and that just you are in the way that you are radiating and vibrating and acting and thinking, that is in the way. Week 2, we're going to really go into the thinking part. So we're going to leave the identity part. We're going into the thinking part, because the thinking part is where all our beliefs are from, the pendulums. Everything that we've been sold is from our parents and the teachers and the books that we've been reading. And those of you who are on this call, you've been reading these weird, bizarre, obscure books that we are reading, but right now it's time for you to actually really understand what is the matrix, what is the divine matrix, how does intention impact the matrix, and how does your state of consciousness impact the matrix. So week 3, we're going to go into the feeling, when you feel this, what is it? Is it intuition or is it a pendulum? And so and in week 3, we're very much going to practice the vibrational alignment work rather than you going into efforting and taking lots of action, which is unaligned. And the vibrational action work is really the work where you're going to align with something that you're tuning into, and that you then feel so much in the flow or in harmony with that concept, that objective potential that's in the future, that you start feeling excited instead of feeling dread, instead of feeling worry. You actually feel excited, because I can tell you, every time that guidance would come to me, or I would meet the right people, like when I met my boyfriend, or when I met Ellen, and or when I got the right book in my hand, you just feel excited. You just know this is it. There is no like analytical little thing going on, like, oh, is this right? No, you just know it. Your whole being knows it. So I think this is really, we're going to clear the clutter. And of course, because of the other work that we'll be doing in the bonus classes, you'll be able to probably receive more, because with the bonus classes, you'll be able to teach yourself the tools to really, do some of the clearing work yourself. Week 4, you'll understand more of the vibrational alignment work. You'll go to, how do you take action? How do you integrate it in? How do you make decisions? What then do you actually do in the outer world? And so we're going to teach you to really, not teach you, we're going to help you condition yourself to set intentions and then to surrender, and why surrender is so important. So we're going to go into the teachings of surrender. And we're going to go into this scenario where you know that you don't have to take 100 pieces of action. Maybe there's just one action you need to take, and that will give you the biggest outcome, the biggest desirable outcome. So we're also going to be looking into a book of this amazing man called John Randolph Price. And John Randolph Price has a book that's called Nothing is Too Good to Be True. And a lot of his work is about how we actually create because we are misdirecting energy. So if you are feeling that you are ready for that, you can definitely go into the scenario where like, what, I'm done with this misdirecting my energy. I am so ready to actually direct my energy so that I can create possible outcomes. So those of you, that are interested, definitely, I just want to remind you that from the other webinar we already ran, crisis behaviors is that we start to, because we're so in fight or flight, we're just going to look at what is, and we're going to be buying into the worst case scenario, because a lot of our brain centers are shut down. So we're just going to be, the amygdala is going to be like, it's going to take over your body. And really, it's mastery. I'm not saying it's easy. It's mastery to really compose yourself. And you will need energetic tools. You will need fast EFT. You might need releasing. You might need, normal EFT or emotion code. I don't know what works for you, but we in our bonus classes will be at least do teaching some of the normal tools that we've been using, so that you can also start using it in your own life. And what you instead of believing in what is, or the worst case scenario, that is the time when you have to master yourself to tune into the best case scenario. So when you stop believing in possibilities because you're feeling stuck, because you just don't know what to do, just know that this is the time when you have to educate yourself on the divine matrix and how your intuition is going to help you. And there's so many amazing books, like The Intelligence of the Heart, this book here. This book, The Intelligence of the Heart Intelligence, is all about the research of HeartMath, but also the Institute of Noetic Sciences and other researchers that have been validating the role of intuition, not just in personal life, but also in business life and in business decisions. So also, very often when we are in crisis, we stop believing in ourselves. We want support. But I think this is, we stop believing that we can create, because we are a little bit pissed off, like, why did I create this crisis? Maybe this crisis was the stepping stone for you to really step into even more empowerment of yourself. So there is a book that we're going to read, which is not on this list because we have too many books that we want to read. There is a book that's called Creating in Times of Resilience from Greg Braden. And, so he has some, with Heart Intelligence, he has an amazing book. So we're going to get snippets out of that book to really inspire you as well. And so when you stop believing in your creative ability, that's when it's time to create. That's when you have to challenge yourself. You can never let yourself believe that you're a victim, because that is the end of the story. And so one of the things that you're going to master is when you stop believing in your creative ability, you're going to do the refractory period that we mastered in other classes. You know, you're going to have to shorten the refractory period of your catastrophic thinking or your devaluing of your creative ability. So we're just going to really, really remind you time and time again of what it is that is very important. Of course, you know, when we are all our amygdala or our stress centers are taking over, we're going to be facing reality, because imagine that it's the same as, fighting a tiger, right? Or fighting, you know, having to save your child from a train that's coming or something, you know, but right now we just have to know that, you know, that no matter what economy is going to do, you can always reinvent yourself. There's always a purpose in the crisis, and there's always a purpose of you overcoming yourself to actually embody even more of yourself when crisis happens, and you can still hold on to vision. But the vision is not going to come from your analytical thinking. I mean, literally, that's not where it is. You know, a lot of research is actually even showing that our consciousness is not in our brain, because a lot of people can tune in and they can read your so-called mind. They can read what's happened in your life. They can read the trauma in your life. They can, there's things like remote viewing going on. So consciousness is not in our brain. So your logic, your analytical mind is not gonna help you to face reality. And I think we didn't come here to face reality. We came here to create reality. Remember that. And so another crisis behavior is that if you are not aware, you're going to be fed, you're going to be plugged in like in the Matrix. You're going to be fed the thoughts, the program of the collective. And so that's going to be about survival. That's going to be about scarcity. That's going to be about competition and there not being enough. And do I really want to be there? I don't want to be there. And I am not there right now. I actually really, no matter what's going on, I know I'm going to have an amazing future, also financially. And I'm surrounded by people that are also embodying that. And so you just need to look around you and see what is actually happening around you, and what are your vibrational matches? What are the people that you hang out with? What are they telling you? Or what are you buying into? If you're not surrounded by people who are thriving right now despite the crisis, who are, despite the crisis, are still having a lot of work, and even more thriving because of what's going on, maybe ask yourself, am I actually am I matching myself with the right people? So I think, your environment will always inform you of who is informing your consciousness and what you really believe to be true. It doesn't matter how many books you read. It doesn't matter how many webinars you attend. If you are still vibrating out of loyalty to the people around you that don't have money, the people that are talking about scarcity, the people that are worried, guess what? That's going to happen for you. Your vibration will be dragged down because of your loyalty, because of your so-called, what we call blind love in constellations. So it's very important that, again, you're going to observe yourself when you go down in your vision. You tone down your positive expectations or your positive belief, because you feel so much love and you feel so much care for people who are so super worried. And so I think we need to remind ourselves over and over again that, your environment, you cannot be sick enough, according to Abraham Hicks, you cannot be sick enough to help other people who are sick. The only way that you're going to inspire anybody is when you're in alignment. So definitely catastrophic thinking, I have catastrophic thinking even when there's no crisis. Imagine, if I hadn't done the work, what type of catastrophic thinking I would have in this crisis right now. Right now, I'm just very much in peace. I'm very much in the receptive mode. I'm very much in feeling gratitude and appreciation, because I know everything will work out well for me and those who are aligned. I just believe that. I just know it because I see it. It's what's happening around me. And so I really think when you are still in this crisis of just really catching yourself being in catastrophic thinking, this is the time you have to play the appreciation game, because appreciation is the easiest way for you to go into heart and brain coherence. And you've experienced it before. When you go into heart and brain coherence, you just see more clear. You're not seeing everything through the stress hormones. You're seeing things as they are, but you can also envision them better than they are. You see also how you're going to be, how you can help that into life. So yeah, so that is what we're going to do. And in April, we're going to launch something else, which is the Law of Vibration Book Club. And those of you who signed up on time, you're going to get free 1 month. So we call it Law of Vibration Book Club because I really wanted to set up, because law of attraction, yeah, you're attracting everything. You've already attracted many things. So law of attraction is easy. Law of vibration is going another level deeper. And I started really understanding that law of vibration is what you need to understand. So the first book that we're going to read is The Astonishing Power of Emotions. And what we will do there is we will take out key concepts. Like, we're not just going to help you to just read and study and consume the book and just put it somewhere to say, yeah, I read the book. No, we're going to help you decipher the key concepts so that it can come alive in your life. So, and we're going to do that in 1 teleclass per week. And then we're going to set up a private forum where we're going to outline the key concepts. And then you can comment on the key concepts per week so that you actually really start to study the book. And so this is what we're going to be doing in probably the 2nd week or the 3rd week of April. So I hope that this was clear. So the game starts tomorrow, the outline of the week. So in week 1, so you see the whole program here. This is really about your vibrational match, right? Week 1, we're going to look at your I believe you're not. So we're going to go into the teachings of Dolores Cannon. And we're also going to look at, how can you feel differently about this crisis, so-called crisis that we're in. In week two, we're going to go into how we think. So we're going to really delve into the teachings of the infinite possibilities, the divine matrix, parallel realities, and we're going to really think about, why do you not believe in the possible? Why do you only believe in what you see, right? This is what normal people do. If you want to be super normal, superhuman being, you're not gonna follow the crowd. You're gonna study what other people are, the people who are the creators are studying, and you're going to implement it. You're not just going to know, you're going to do it, and you're going to challenge yourself and your habitual ways of being. So in week 3, we're going to go into the feelings. We're going to really talk about intuition, really think about what is intuition, how does intuition work for you, and how can you actually embody the new potential, even, but that's week 3. So probably you will have had a much more insight about how you are limiting yourself, so that you feel more freed up about, actually, I'm ready to embody the new potential, even without a shred of evidence. My partner is sat here in front of me working, and I told him, before I met you, I was like, for months, I was doing meditations and visualizations with eyes wide open, where I felt that all my wildest dreams have come true. And, and I didn't have a shred of evidence. To be honest, the relationship I have right now is really so different from all the other relationships that I've had, which were very painful, which were very, like, a lot of effort, a lot of commitment issues, a lot of, identity issues, a lot of painful archetypes coming in. And, so you have to believe that what you are embodying, even before it shows up, it calls in certain potential, certain people, certain situations into your life. I've done it with my businesses. I've done it in my love life. I've done it with my finances. So I can share these very personal anecdotes as well, so that you get inspired. So, but you have to prove it to yourself, because as we know, you can know all of this, but unless you are called to really break these habits of how you are showing up, and there's actually not really a price if you don't change it, you're not going to change it. Right now, there's a huge price. There's a big price you have to pay when you don't change. And so I think, you know, for those who are ready, we would be very glad to see you witness your transformation and really help you in this attractive field that we're creating, to help you with the attractive field that we're creating. So week 4, it's about acting based on intention and surrendering to a bigger plan, and also leaving your ego plans behind. Everything that you thought had to happen maybe is completely different, and really feeling appreciative of that. And if you tell me how my life is right now, I don't think a few years ago I would have been feeling comfortable. I would be like, oh no, please don't let that happen to me. But right now I can see how perfect it is, how perfect it was, how perfect all the so-called failures were, you know. So I think really once you start trusting the unfolding of the best case scenario, and you start appreciating everything what is, you're going to be in heart and brain comparison all the time, and you're going to like really stay in receptive mode by practicing the alignment skills, and you're going to know how to take the right action. And as I promised, once you are in the receptive mode and you meet the right people, they will recognize you. They will come to you, they will call you, they will feel that you are the match. There is nothing like, oh, let's think about it, let's talk about the conditions or something. You just feel it. You just know that you know that you know, because alignment is such a deep coherence with, I think, this oneness principle that we're all one. When you don't have any doubt that you're going to be stepping into your best case scenario, and that the right cooperative components, people, circumstances, and events are lined up, when you meet them, you will recognize them, and they will recognize you, and you'll attract them to you. So it's so beautiful. Life is so beautiful. And I now, you know, sometimes I would listen to Esther Hicks and I would think, oh, these crazy Abraham Hicks people, they're a little bit living in la la land, you know. I'm just gonna continue doing my trauma stuff, right? In constellation work, my fast EFT, emotion code. I was thinking that the joy is, when you go into joy, it's really because you're tapped into infinite potential, and you really know it already happened. So you know it's a done deal. So you're not going to worry about the how, you're just going to enjoy the unfolding of it. But definitely we also need to do the clearing, because, you know, Ellen and I could not have been here without the clearing. You know, both of us, you know, there's a reason why we did so much personal development, because there was a lot of shit. There was a lot of this happening here. And so don't feel bad when you are experiencing this right now. Just have self-compassion, which is another thing that we're definitely going to teach, which is, a lot of us are, when we're doing this work, we're really hard on ourselves. We're going to really, like, you know, take you by the hand and say, you know what, that doesn't work. We have to have compassion for ourselves so that we can move to this level 500. So the more we can have compassion for, even when we're experiencing this, the more that we're gonna be here. And that is what we will do in these extra bonus classes. So I hope that this was clear. I don't know whether anybody has questions. I didn't have time. Oh, so Anna, you've been reading up on Dolores Cannon. So yeah, Alan had to go. This is being recorded. Yeah, so I don't know whether anybody has a question about maybe what is this outline here, or about anything that I've said. If you have, you can put it in the chat. Yeah, and if not, you know, just trust your intuition. Ellen and I know that maybe some of you, you know, you might have had seen your, those of you who are our previous clients, we appreciate you so much. We really believe that you can create momentum joining this specific class, because this is something that, if this course existed, I would have been in it myself, but I had to create it because it didn't exist. And it didn't exist because I was given the download, and I had to create it because I wasn't there. So I am guided, and I'm trusting that I need to create this, and I need to live it, and I'm creating it because I'm living it. And so I think there is a validity in us trusting that what we need to serve, how we need to serve the world, it is going to be clear to us. And we really believe that we want you to be able to help yourself with what we're being given. So if any of you who are our previous clients, if you have issues with like maybe paying the 50%, you know, we're happy to create installments, like a 2-time installment, like you pay in the beginning 50% and then you pay maybe like in the 3rd week or so, you pay the other 50% of the 50%. So, and definitely you can also be an affiliate. So if you have other people in, you can even make money with this. We're still giving a 20% affiliate commission to whoever joins through you for the indefinite period of time that they're going to be playing with us. So we look forward to having you there. The classes start tomorrow. To sign up tomorrow at 9 o'clock. To sign up, you would have to go to this page. This is the page. So yeah, so this page here, the appreciationgame.com, theappreciationgame.com/best-case/. So if you want to have it, just send me a note. So yeah, so we look forward to having you there, and hopefully this outline here will help you to really look at your alignment skills. I mean, we tend to, you know, we had a list of the alignment skills, but right now I feel that the identity part and the infinite possibilities part is really, really, definitely the pendulum part is so important. And that's why we expanded the framework. So anyways, there are no questions. I really appreciate your time. I know that if you feel called to work with us, you know, money should never be an issue. Just reach out to us if you need any type of payment plan. Yeah, we're happy to work with you, and we're happy to listen to any feedback you might be able to give us, but we're going to play the game, and we have an intention that people are going to have a huge return on investment with the game. So hopefully we'll have you in our group, and yeah, make the best of these times, because you can, because it is a complete possible to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna end this meeting. I'm gonna leave you right now. Lots of love, everybody. Bye-bye.